Just another beautiful winter's day here in the True North Strong and Free, not the 51st state. We all deserve a second chance in life sometimes, don't we? Even our camping gear, the gear we thought we hated at first. Today I'm taking a tent out that I was absolutely miserable in the first time. Gonna give it another shot. Hauled in 4 kilometers to get here today. Gorgeous looking lake, unbroken trail, and I'm just looking for somewhere to set up the tent. It's thick boreal forest here, so I'm just looking for some kind of opening, get me out of the wind. Got one option here. It's not bad, but a bit scrubby, lots of pokies. One advantage it has is that there are no big trees hanging around. It's supposed to be very windy tonight, so I wouldn't want one falling down on me. I'll keep this spot in mind. Nothing promising yet. Another similar option here. It's like frozen muskeg, but the snow's deep enough to cover it all up. It's good work. Yeah, heading back to one of those options. Left my gear here at option 1, just to scout with nothing, and that's gonna be camp. Cozy little spot out of the wind. I like it. So here it is, the tent that wronged me in the past. Seek Outside Cimarron. Giving it another shot tonight. In need of a little platform for the pole, or just post holes. Found some thick bark off of a dead tree, piled it up here, and that's working to hold up the pole. And here's something I didn't have the last time I tried this in wintry conditions, a liner. This goes up on one side of the tent where you sleep, and it prevents, hopefully, condensation from falling onto me. So basically it takes a cone at the top with all these strings dangling down, and then this ties into the strings at the top and also goes through these loops at the bottom of the tent where it's staked out, and that will hold it in place. Not done yet. Without this, last time whenever I was touching the walls of the tent, it would just like rain condensation on me and frost, so hopefully this is gonna prevent that. So Aaron and I have used this tent on 2 22-day trips in the summer, and it's good because it has an amazing space to weight ratio. However, the bug nest that they sell for it really sucks actually. But the main impetus for giving it a second chance in winter at all is that it shaves about 15 pounds off of my weight versus my other Snow Trekker tent, the big canvas tent, which is way more comfortable. Like, I concluded that the last time I tested this, but it's hard to compare them. One's 20 pounds, one's 5 pounds, and more than the weight even is the volume. This takes up so little room. Packing the freight toboggan today, I had so much extra room in the big 6-foot tank. So the other tent is great for base camping. It's really hard to do travel trips with it, so that's why I'm thinking about this again. I also left behind my auger and ice fishing gear, which means I'll be melting snow for water, but that also saves a bunch of weight. And I've got these light snowshoes, the MSR Lightning Ascents. They're pretty much the most popular snowshoe based on my research. I actually don't love the binding at all, but they are lightweight and pretty functional. And one thing I like is they have these tails you can add to the end from here to here. that's an addition. So you have smaller snowshoes and then a little bit more flotation when you need it. Still not nearly good enough for really deep snow, but doing the trick right now. Hopefully I can work toward an ultralight setup, do some travel. So I brought in my titanium wood stove just in case, but I'm not going to use it. I know the experience of using it in this tent already, and it's very cramped because you've got this glowing hot stove and not a lot of room to maneuver in here. But I'll still get some use out of it. I can put my candle on it and my Trangia, cook up dinner on here. It's only going to be about -10 tonight, so I think with the candle and the Trangia it'll get pretty comfortable in here. And we got a big cozy sleeping bag, so it'll be absolutely fine. Okay, snow, and gotta add a little hot water to it, or just any water to the bottom. Otherwise, it burns on the bottom of the pot and it tastes like burnt milk. Quite nice. Got probably, well, arguably the most indulgent backpacking meal there is. This biscuits and sausage gravy, 1100 calories, which is quite good for one of those. And I'm going to have a mint tea as well. That hits the spot. Hauling through deep snow will work up such an appetite. Getting some snow melted for tomorrow morning. Fill up the thermos. This, even if I went super ultralight, I think I'd have to bring it. It's just such nice security having a big heat source. Get cold, drink some, warm you up from the inside out. On a somewhat related note, if you eat backpacking meals and you're struggling to get your small spoon in there, if you haven't got a long spoon yet, do yourself a huge favor. For dessert, scotch. Cheers. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Just getting settled in here. Finally getting my boots off. And I got my sleep system. Close cell phone pad. What is it? Thermarest NeoAir Xtherm NXT. Got an R value of 7.3. A little down-filled pillow for between my knees. Save my hips. Inflatable pillow up top. I have a liner, but while I'm on this ultralight train of thought, I was thinking I don't really need this in winter. My sleeping bag is plenty warm, and really I use the liner to save my sleeping bag in summer when I might be a little sweaty sometimes or grimy. Here, no. Winter is clean and cold. And then La Piste de Resistance, my -35 bag from Taiga. I'll be plenty warm tonight. It's only -5 right now. So, yeah, it's gonna be cozy. The sleeping bag is a dream. A -35 bag is something everyone should experience in their lives. It feels so good. One luxury that almost always makes the cut for me is a good book. This is Fatal Passage, which documents John Ray's adventures. He was tasked with finding out what happened to John Franklin in his doomed expedition through the Northwest Passage. And I think Ray also discovered the last link of the Northwest Passage. And I just love polar adventures in general. The Terror, which is about Franklin's doomed expedition, and Shackleton's Endurance. If you don't like reading, they're both available in audiobook. Worth every second. So good. Oh, that's good. Oh. Well, I had a very cozy night in here. It said it was only -5 throughout the night on the thermometer, so that was easy compared to the last 2 trips I was on, which got into the -30s with the wind chill. And keeping food and meals very simple on this trip. Got to conserve that fuel, which I now just use the last of. Boiling up water, filling it up for the day. And another part of the night being good was this liner. It was a huge success, actually. No frost on this surface. I can feel it in behind on the actual tent. The other half, without the liner, is covered in frost. Covered in it. And if you touch it, it just rains down on you. So that really changes this tent for winter use. I feel like I could potentially do it. One other thing about the liner is it has a loop here and here. So you could tie a little line here, hang mitts and whatnot. It's a meager hanging line compared to the big canvas tent, which has one running down the ridge line, but still a lot better than nothing. And I could even hang mitts off of these strings. Yeah, this is seeming a lot more viable as a solo winter shelter, but I don't think I'd squeeze 2 people in here. Not with the stove. Got a little fresh snow last night. It's looking like a winter wonderland around here. Time for a little exploring. With the fresh snow, I'm on the lookout for tracks. If I find any, then I'll just have missed the animal. It's always fun. Snowshoe hare. Back to camp, had a nice snowshoe on the lake, and it wasn't anything too special to see, just another beautiful winter's day here in the true north strong and free, not the 51st state. And I've been mulling over whether to say something about this. Normally I avoid anything political because it can just stir up a storm in the comments for me, which is unpleasant, potential loss of viewers. But this isn't left versus right, this is freedom versus tyranny. To threaten your neighbor, Canada, by economic force and potentially other places by military force, that you're going to annex them, just take them, scoop them up, is an absolute outrage. And hopefully, even if you think, you know, if you're American, you probably think that'd be a gift to Canada. And I understand, you're proud of your country, we're proud of ours too. We don't want to be radically changed or absorbed. We're a free nation. We're good neighbors, and let's keep it that way. Right now your dog is barking off the chain, and he's looking at our lawn like he wants to take a giant shit on it. So please get a leash back on him and let's continue being good neighbors. This tent here, I paid 3 or 4 times the price of what I could have bought it for if I had got it from a made in China shop. But I went for American because I wanted quality and to support the American economy. And these are the kind of benefits that we have with a good relationship. But this is the sort of behavior you should expect when he's taking notes from one of the worst people on the face of the planet, in Putin, and leadership by aggression and force and anger and hatred. It's just not good. Canada and the US, we're big brother and little brother. We get on each other's nerves sometimes, we fight, but ultimately we love each other and we're good for each other. We need each other. Let's just keep it that way. Let's be good neighbors. And in general, the last thing the world needs right now is bigger governments. Small to medium-sized governments are so much more effective because they're in touch with their constituents, and they're not so big and powerful that it invites corruption and war and all of that other nonsense that none of us citizens really generally want. So to make a big country even bigger is not a good idea. I think once a country gets to a certain point, if I had my way, don't forget you can vote for John Terrio for Supreme Chancellor of Earth in the upcoming election. Once a nation reaches a certain size, I don't know if that's in GDP or population, it automatically splits into two government and to two different bodies to prevent anything from getting too big, too powerful, and too corrupt. So, all in all, horrible idea, nasty, nasty leadership, and I hope that we citizens just stay friends and stay good neighbors. So it's a short outing. I'm not really sure I had to haul in 4 kilometers to do this test, but it was good exercise and good fresh air. And I got something valuable out of it, which is confidence back in this tent. Just because of this little thin sheet. That makes it so much more pleasant. I still stand by what I said in my original thoughts from last winter, early last winter. My other tent, the canvas tent, is like a miniature cabin. And it's so cozy and comfortable and functional. This is a tent. No real surprise there, but yeah, there are sacrifices with all camping gear, and this one would allow me to travel. I wouldn't want to take it out in back-to-back frigid nights in the minus 20s or 30s, but for moderate temperatures, it would definitely be a workable solution that would allow me to travel further, so that's worth something. I'm sure I'll be out with it again. Time to pack up and haul out.